Health Alert is brought to you by OU Physicians in Tulsa. Hello, welcome to Health Alert. I'm Pam Butler. Today we're going to talk about some fascinating things for business, looking at financial health. And joining me is Robbie Brady. She's Executive Business Consultant with Storehouse Financial. And also Ann Lewis. You are with Davis Life, a brokerage. And you're also a life accountant executive. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got it right.
All righty then. Let's jump in. Now I want to start with you, Robbie, to help our viewers understand about Storehouse Financial. What is Storehouse Financial?
Storehouse Financial is a collective group of agents that we seek to work with business owners and even families on just inspiring and empowering them to look at some strategic plans and ideas financially that may not be of the traditional direction, but certainly offer tremendous rewards and benefits for them to have more choice and control over their money. Whether, again, it's a business owner or a family individual, there's a lot of strategies and a lot of things that can be done nowadays with different and unique programs out there that we would like for them to take a look at, and that's what we work with them on.
Okay, well, what about if you're talking about families, because we are going to focus more on this segment, this particular show, looking at businesses, but for families, the ones that may be saying, wait a minute, I don't have any extra money, I don't have any assets, things are really hard. Can they profit from some of the services that Storehouse Financial would offer?
You know, in most cases, yes. It's a matter of a lot of people don't realize they have assets. And so what we do is we sit with them, we counsel with them, we look at what they do have and see if there might be avenues in there that they don't realize that they have some, some locked up, revenue or money that they might be able to work with. Secondly, even if they don't, we can give them some directions and some parameters that they can start working from so that then they can start building and growing, and then perhaps maybe, a few months to a year down the road or something, then that might create a different picture for them to work with.
Okay, well, let's shift to businesses. Let me start maybe with persons who are thinking about starting a business, the new entrepreneur. What kinds of things do you do with them to sort of help them get on the road? And then I'll say, too, that, Ann, you can jump in at any point in which you might need to interject some things in relation to those businesses. But let's start with those new businesses. What can they benefit from? I mean, if they come into Storehouse Financial, what are you going to do, or the person is trying to start the business?
Okay. Typically, the very first thing we do is we sit down on a consulting basis at no charge and just talk to them and say, okay, what are your goals? What is it you're trying to accomplish? What are your expectations, not only in these first few months, the first year, but in 5 years? What are your retirement goals? What are you looking to do with this business? What's your market? One thing about that, because we have a lot of experience under our belt in a lot of different areas when it comes to business, we can work with them from even a marketing standpoint or anything to give them ideas about what they should look for if they're just starting a business. And so those are some real benefits that they can, that would be good for them to seek out somewhere before they get started. Secondly, then we say, based on what your goals are, again, we look at some of their assets they may have, some way they may be able to pull money from in order to fund this business, because it always takes money to get a business going. And having been in some of those same modes ourselves, we know that whatever you think it's going to take, you need to double that amount. However long you think it's going to go, you probably need to double that amount, because it always takes more money and more time to really get things up and going than most people realize. So those are some things to look at, and so we just counsel and work with them and then see what direction then we need to go at that point.
Okay, well, let me switch to you, Ann, in terms of the new business owner or the person that's trying to start that particular business. Now, Davis Life Brokerage, tell us a little bit before we get started, what is Davis Life Brokerage and what is your connection with Storehouse Financial?
Davis Life Brokerage is an independent marketing organization that works with organizations like Storehouse Financial. And what we provide expertise in advanced markets. So businesses who have special needs and need special techniques, we work with Storehouse to create those. We work directly with them and they work directly with the business owner. And what we do, it's a planning approach. Sit down with the business owner, find out what their exposure is. It's in risk management, How much risk do they have and how can we mitigate that risk? And we provide the product to do that.
Okay, and let me ask this. Let me get one other thing out here before I ask my question here in terms of risk. Behind your name, people see this CLU and they may wonder, what in the world is a CLU? What does that mean?
It's chartered life underwriter, and it's similar to a CPA in the accounting business. It's 10 courses of advanced markets in every area of the insurance industry, and it's by the American College out of Pennsylvania, and it's a designation that you have to constantly go back to school and maintain also.
Okay, so it lets an individual know that you're coming to a person who's gone through a certain level of rigor and training and certification, and so that's very important.
Absolutely.
Okay, let me ask you then about this concept of risk, because people that may be trying to start a business or new in a business may not totally understand a lot of this terminology. So when you say you look at your risk, I mean, they may be thinking, well, it's just a risk for me going into business, but
Absolutely.
What are you really trying to get out of the person?
Well, the business owner sees risk differently than we do.
Exactly.
And so what we try to do is use our experience to tell them, look, Mr. Business Owner, if you walk out of this business today and become a grill of a Mack truck, what's going to happen? Is the business going to die with you? Is it going to continue? Do you have key people? How are you going to exit the business? How are you going to pay the taxes if the IRS comes in and says, because of your death, you owe 50% of that business in taxes? We cover all those segments, and we help them provide liquidity. One of the biggest problems in an estate when somebody dies is liquidity to pay taxes and closing costs.
Okay. Now, when you talk about how is the business structured, like, do you help the person, or you, Robbie, in terms of who's going to discuss with the person, how do you need to start to build that business? I mean, of course, all of us starting a business want to be the president or the CEO.
Sure.
Of course, we've got that one covered.
That's right.
But who else do we need in this business to really build it in a sound kind of fashion? Either of you can answer that, or both.
One of the things that is very, very important to a business owner is having a team. And I believe the attorney and the accountant and Storehouse Financial is a team that comes together and provides this, it's kind of like running a ship. And Robbie would be the captain of the ship, and the attorney and the accountant would come in and work as a team to make sure the structure's properly structured based on what he wants to accomplish. And maybe it's a C corporation, maybe it's an S, maybe it's a limited partnership, but an attorney would know the right structure for that business. Then the accountant, of course, is the numbers guy. But without this team effort, there's always a gap in a business plan.
Okay.
And so we try to bring that team together.
Okay. Now, with you, Robbie, when the person comes in and talks to, in terms of understanding what type of corporation they really need to be, those things are very critical. Are you also going to walk them through that? Because Ann didn't mention how the attorney will help with that, but do you play a role in that? And then do you play the role in saying that, you know, we're thinking of sometimes traditional, well, we need a president, a vice president, a secretary, a treasurer. I mean, are you going to help us kind of make that transition to what do we really need to pay attention to?
Well, and that is certainly something we can do in our consulting and talk with business owners, and especially new business owners just getting started, is, you know, what do you bring to the table? What's your area of expertise in running a business? And so know what you have to offer. And then in that, then see where your weakness are. You know, everyone has weaknesses. We don't always like to face that, but we do. So it's a matter of, okay, right now, up front, before you get started, it's better to know those and identify those, and then find key people then to fill in for that, because that is something that can save a lot of time and money then down the road. And so we'll certainly get into, you know, discussing some of that. A lot of what we do is we basically call ourselves the quarterback of the team. And so Storehouse agents come in, and that's what I do with business owners. I'm their quarterback, and I help them from a lot of different views and parameters with that business, but a lot of it is to help them ensure that the right people are in the right place. If they already have an attorney, if they already have an accountant, we work with them closely to ensure that the structure of that company is set properly, and then we also have products and vehicles that will help them from a financial standpoint to properly then to utilize those vehicles and those products to maybe help them with some of the tax burdens they may be looking at, help them with some financing some equipment or different things like that.
Okay, well, we're going to take a really quick break, and then I want to come back and talk about a business plan in terms of where does it fit in this model of what you're talking about, and how do you help with, and then some other information. Okay? So you stay put, and you stay put. We'll be right back.